everyone, my name is Sophie and welcome to my new video. This book came out in 2016 and since then I was excited to read it. So I didn't read it at the time because I was kind of scared. I was like, everyone's saying you shouldn't read it, like you'll be spoiled. What if I ever want to read the Mortal Instruments? At this point, I say fuck it, and I just read it without having read the Mortal Instruments. It's been a couple days since I finished Lady Midnight and it took me forever to read. Right off the bat, before I discuss anything to do with this, I felt like the plot took forever to pick up. Listen, if I have to read a 650-page book and it takes the author 200 to 300 pages to actually pick up the plot and make it interesting, that's just like, just cut it, honestly. I hate when there's nothing happening. Like, I get you wanted to make us like fall in love with the characters and be like, oh, this is what the Blackthorns do all day. Oh, this is what Emma does all day. But honestly, like, do that in the second book. Don't do it in the first book where I don't even know them. It's not a good way to introduce them because I was bored out of my mind because they were working towards nothing the whole time until they went to the lottery, which was 200 pages in, and I was just... Since it's been a couple of days since I read this book, I hope I can still make sense of my notes. I have read a different book you know, in the time spent from me finishing this and filming this video. I love the cover though. I think the cover is really pretty. That's like the best thing about the book. I also realized that I haven't read a book that was set in today's world in ages. I think the last book that I read that wasn't fantasy or dystopian and that was actually just like urban fantasy, I think it's what it's called, it was The Raven Cycle that I read years ago. So this was quite a different experience for me because, as I said, only The Raven Cycle, and other than that I just read high fantasy with their own worlds or dystopian. We start off with the Shadow Market. We get introduced to this dude named Kit and his father, who apparently he's human and so is his son, but he's not, but you know, he's human, with a side so he can see everything going on in the shadow world. And his dad deals with information. He's very educated on managing everything and he's known to be like a bad bitch. So we get introduced to Emma and her boyfriend Cameron, who has no point in being there. I don't know why he's in this book. We find out that Emma is a shadow hunter and she wants to find out who killed her parents years ago during the Dark War, which is the Mortal Instruments, which I didn't read. So, you know, that's that. The most notable thing that I remember about this beginning is the fact that it's mentioned that there's mermaids. If you have this world with fairies, with mermaids, write a fucking book about them. The things I give for a mermaid book, I just felt really bad for Cameron throughout the whole book. I don't know what Emma's issue is. I don't know why he was introduced. I think it was just like to show us that she... I don't know what it was supposed to show us, that she can't keep a relationship, that she's a bad bitch for breaking up with him. She just breaks up with him over the phone. She's like, I can't do this anymore, sorry, bye. If someone broke up with me that way, it would be on sight. I didn't vibe with that. I didn't vibe with that at all. I thought Cameron, he's mentioned time and time again throughout the book, but he was really just there to build tension between Emma and Julian, and I just thought it was so unnecessary. Like, leave him out of the story, nothing changes. And when that is the point, like when that is the case with a character, then don't put them in the story. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. So Emma finds out at the Shadow Market that there's going to be a dead body somewhere. I don't remember, like a bar or something. There's going to be a dead body that resembles the bodies of her parents when they died. You know, they were like burned up and there were runes over them or markings were over them. I don't really know. I don't really care. Emma is like, yo, Christina, which is her best friend from Mexico, because we need a person of color. We don't, like, who else is of color in this book? I can't tell you anyone. We just have to, here's some, you know, here's some diversity. Christina. I did like Christina though. She was very reasonable, but she, like, I don't know, she was there, you know. They go to this location that the dude from the Shadow Market told them, and they find the body, and she's like, oh my god, it's like my parents, oh my god, I'm gonna discover who murdered them, whatever. She gets in trouble with this Diana chick. She's like a tutor. I don't know how old she's supposed to be. Diana is like really fucking mad at Emma for going on her own and finding this body. And I was just reading that and I was like, Diana, shut the fuck up. There is no point in Diana in this story either. She has 4 scenes or so, and she just disappears for times, like, you know, on end. I'm sure, or actually I'm not sure, she'll probably have a bigger role in the upcoming books, but literally, like, what does she do? I don't know, she just really annoyed me because she was supposed to be like this guardian for them, and she didn't fucking do anything. She just left. She was like, you know what? I can't tutor you. There's literally like 2 scenes where they're being tutored, where she's teaching them something. One scene where they have to take a test, and another scene where they have school. And the rest of the time, they're just not getting any lessons. Julian also comes home. He was in England for a few weeks with all of his siblings, which I will not talk about the siblings in depth because there's so many of them. The only one that I liked was Ty. Yeah, that's it. Like, I don't dislike the others, but the others were just kind of, like, boring. Livy, I was like, okay, she's there, she's cute. Tavi is cute. I don't remember the other's name. What's the other's name? Drew. Drew, also no point in Drew. Anyway, whatever, maybe later on. Jem, which is the reason I was reading this book, right, for Jem. And I had to read 600 pages for Jem to turn up. Fuck, I was so pissed. Jem has sent her presents through church, which is his cat, you know. I don't really know what's up with the cat, why it hasn't died. I didn't know it was also immortal, but yeah, I fuck with that. You know, I fuck with that. Jem sends her presents, like, I love Jem! I miss him! Julian is very clearly in love with Emma. I think it was supposed to be like a little bit a mysterious thing, you know. He didn't say it, he didn't think it in his POV, he was just like saying, oh, he's jealous of Ash. No, his name's not Ash, Cameron. Why did I say Ash? He was like looking up the peripety section in the codex because him and Emma are peripety, so they can't be in love for some reason. It's really mysterious. But it's very, I mean, it's very clear that he's in love with her, and the love between them, the romance, really fucking bothered me. The reason for that, for the romance bothering me, is the fact that Emma, when Julian comes back, she is very, like, she's already into him. This is like just a personal preference, but I feel like there should have been a little bit of like seducing, persuading. He comes back from London, she's like, he's kind of sexy. So I don't know, it was like very, they were already feeling each other, and it was like, okay, that happened fast, you know. They fuck. So then we get like the plot, right? These murderers are also killing fairies, which the fairies don't like, and so they come to the Shadowhunters, which they're not allowed to because of the fucking contract that they have. They're like, hey, don't tell the Clave, but we want to find the murderers and we're gonna give you your brother back. Mark is the best character in this book. Mark is way more interesting than Julian. I'm sorry, I fuck with Mark way more. Not that I don't like Julian, but it's like, in comparison to Mark, I don't like him. It's true. Crucify me. They have 3 weeks to find the murderers, and after the 3 weeks are up, Mark is allowed to choose whether he wants to stay with the fairies and be abused or come home to the Shadowhunter world, because he was taken because he's part fairy and part Shadowhunter, you know. All of the Shadowhunters, Julian, Emma, Christina, none of them are like skeptical. Mark comes back and they're like, yes, Mark, woohoo, we've missed you, bitch, turn it up. But none of them is like, oh fuck, maybe he was brainwashed, maybe he's spying on us, maybe he wants to like kill us from within. They're like, no, it's Mark. Like, we're not skeptical. All of them are so stupid. Mark and Emma go to this I don't know how you say it, convergence? Emma and Mark go there because that's where the murders have been happening, and apparently this convergence makes the magic that whatever is being used like better and higher and more effective. They fight some demons and they have a flying motorcycle. When I read that, I was like, oh my god, I remember that one scene in the Shadowhunters TV show where Clary and Jace fly the motorcycle for the first time, and I was just crying laughing watching that. I watched that the other day before I started the book. I watched it, I was like, oh my god, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. Listen, the amount of times the Mortal Instruments is referenced, every other page is like, Clary and Jace, they're so great, I love them! Like, I get it. Why do you have to tell me like 50 million times? There's a discussion between Julian and Diana about Ty, because Ty is autistic. I love Ty, he's so sweet. I think he's like so well written. Like, he's really fucking interesting. And they're talking about how the Clave doesn't want disabled shadow hunters. I was so bothered by this. I hate I mean, the Clave is like the true enemy in every fucking book. The true villain. But I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I just don't get why they're so anti, like, mundane technology, and they're so ableist when they could have profit off of it. I also don't understand because the Clave members have to be changed out when they die and shit, like when they're sick or something, and there have to be other members in the Clave. And I don't understand why there's not more progressive people in the Clave and they change some of the rules. I don't understand that. Like, why don't they just change the rules? Like, at some point, Emma could be in the fucking Clave. Why doesn't she just, like, change it? Why doesn't she, like, petition for us to not hate disabled people? That's too big brain, you know, that's too big brain. Because I'm sure not everyone in the Clave is like, fuck disabled people. Like, you know? So it's somehow, I don't really remember how they identified this dead body that Emma found earlier. And so they go to his house. And in the house, they find this woman dead in the pool. And lo and behold, you wouldn't have thought that this could happen, but they get attacked by a mysterious person with a hood. Fuck protection, you know? Fuck it. Just like go there, not protected. Julian gets shot right, and I didn't even write this in my notes because I didn't care, but basically the arrow that pierced his ribs was poisoned. And theoretically, he shouldn't have been able to heal from the poison, but Emma was like sitting on his lap and getting all fucking horny and wet, and she drew a rune on him and it cured him. And they were like, what the fuck just happened? It's because they're parabatai and they're falling in love, but I'll talk about that later because this plot bothers me so much, this plot point. So when they found that woman in the pool, they also found a ticket to a lottery. And so they're like, oh fuck yeah, let's go there. Like, it's gonna be lit. They go to the lottery and Emma and Julian almost kiss. Like, they have a moment, but they don't kiss. But they almost kiss. And it's like, oh my god, you know, the tension, just kiss. As I mentioned earlier, this is like 250 pages into the book. And I don't understand how there could have been this much build-up, honestly. And it wasn't even interesting build-up. It was just like, just Julian thirsting over Emma. It could have been cut out. It could have been cut out. At the lottery, one person from the audience is picked, and they don't really know what it means. They just think off the top of their heads, oh yeah, that person is gonna be the next victim, the next murder is gonna be that person. And so they're like, okay, we have to protect him. Like, he can't be killed. This dude is like a quarter werewolf. And he's like, fuck off, I don't want your help. But they're like, no, we're all up in your business. We're not asking you what's going on. We're not letting you die. And he's like, fuck off. But they're like, no, we're not fucking off. They also visit Kit, which this is 300 pages. This is like, the book is almost over. And they visit Kit and his dad for information. I had already forgotten that Kit existed, you know? Because he was mentioned in the very beginning, then never again. And when they're talking to the dad of Kit for information, Ty sneaks into the house. He just came along. He was like, fuck it, I want to go. He meets Kit and they like immediately fall in love. They're like, oh my god, you're so pretty. No, you're so pretty. So, I mean, it's very obvious that they're going to be together. I think, can you make it any more fucking obvious? No, you have to just straight out tell us. Also, it's mentioned that Kit doesn't look like his father at all, and I was like, okay, so he's adopted or something? Like, something's up with him, you know? And it was up with him, so I'm just so smart. I pick up on all the obvious clues. While Julian and Emma were at the house, Mark had to watch over the other little kids, you know, over his siblings. And when Julian comes back with Emma, he's in the kitchen and the kitchen is like a mess. He just explodes at Mark and he's so fucking rude to him. And when I read that, I was like, fuck you. You have to imagine Mark was like tortured and abused for years and he comes back to his family and he doesn't know how to cook. He doesn't know how to cook in the kitchen. He doesn't know what the fuck is up. He's just trying to make his siblings happy and you react that way. What the fuck? So Emma goes to the congregants alone. I don't really remember why. My note just says she goes there alone and I don't know why she went there alone. Why not? You know, why not? I think she almost gets killed because she's like dragged underwater because she She's like, oh my god, a lever. What happens if I pull it? Bitch, what the fuck? And she's like sucked into the ocean, and she hates the ocean because her parents like were washed up from the ocean. And she's like, oh no, I'm dying. And then Julian is at home and he like coughs up salt water or ocean water, whatever the fuck. And he's like, oh my god, Emma is drowning. I don't know how he just connected in his brain, but he's like, oh my god, yeah, Emma is drowning. So he goes to exactly the spot that she is. Because like he finds the exact spot and he saves her. And she's like so grateful that she sucks his dick. She doesn't just suck it, she also puts it inside her. Apparently this was his first time having sex, and the way it was described seemed like the fact that he didn't come immediately just seems fake to me. Also the fact that this guy has been like thirsting over Emma the whole book and before that, and he's never popped a boner. I mean, you know, whatever, maybe he just doesn't do that. But it seems unrealistic to me. They fuck on the beach, which I honestly, like, I'm not the biggest fan of fucking on the beach. I think that would be really inconvenient, just like the sand. Ugh. I don't want to think about it. I'm getting like a disease just thinking about it. They go back to the institute the next morning, and the institute is like surrounded by these people from the, what's it called, from the lottery. And all of a sudden Diego is there. Diego is Christina's ex-boyfriend, but like she ran away from Mexico because she thought he was going to betray her, and then he was like, no, that was my brother, and she's like, okay, I love you. So that conflict lasted a while. Anyway, the people leave again, you know, the followers leave again, they cut off some guy's head, and then they're like, peace out, that's all I needed, and they're like, okay, bye. Julian reveals to Emma and Mark that his uncle, who's the head of the institute, is mentally ill. The thing is that Arthur, that's his name actually, he doesn't really do anything in the book because he's mentally ill, so he doesn't have to be in the book, you know, he's just in his attic the whole time. And so Julian had to kind of become the head of the institute in secret and like write all the correspondence, and he reveals this to Emma and Mark. And I was sitting there, I was like, didn't we already know this? It's made out to be such a big fucking deal, and I was reading that, I was like, I mean, we knew he had something going on and that he had to sometimes take medicine for it to think straight, but like, why is Julian so pressed? Like, we've been new. Everyone is 12 when their trauma happens to them. Like, trauma doesn't happen to you when you're below 12 or above 12. Only at 12 it can occur. Literally, you have to like pay attention. It's always that age, 12 or 11. No other age. I don't know what her like, why not 9? 13? It's too old. So they find out that, you know, someone's trying to bring someone back from the dead, and that's why they're like preparing this ritual and killing all these people. And listen, there is this poem on the wall in like a fairy language, and they managed to translate the first 2 lines. And so Tavi, the youngest sibling, is like, wait a damn minute, and runs off and comes back with a book. It's a children's book, and it's a poem, and that is literally the poem on the wall. And when they were like, oh my god, yes, that is it, yes, oh my god, this children's poem, like, yes, that's it. Tell me why I don't fucking believe that. You want to tell me that Julian never read this poem out to Tavi? Why does Tavi have this book if Julian never read it to him? That bothered me. Like, literally, shouldn't Julian also be aware of it? Maybe not, but it was just like, if it's a children's book, I'm sure he read it out to his younger siblings. Whatever, maybe he can't read. Julian is an artist, and he has a room where he draws, like, I don't know where that is, like a studio, they say, but I don't know what it looks like. And there's a locked door, you know, and that's introduced earlier in the story. They're like, yeah, so he has this studio with a door, and it's like locked all the time. His siblings aren't allowed to go in there. Yeah, it's his secret. And then in the same paragraph, I think it's mentioned that he never draws Emma. And I was like, okay, let's like, Cassandra Clare is the queen of obvious clues. So that room is full of paintings of Emma. And guess what? It fucking is. Imagine if it would have been anyone but Julian. And Emma, like, imagine Emma didn't fuck with Julian. And she was just like, I'm just your friend. Why, like, you know, I don't want to fuck, like, I don't want to have your dick in me. And she walks into the room and she just sees millions of pictures of her. I don't think she would have been comfortable with that, you know? So lucky Julian that she did fall in love with him, because otherwise this might have ended poorly. Just an opinion, just like an idea. The fairies come back, you know, the ones that were like, hey, find the murderers in 3 weeks or we take Mark. And apparently Mark like told Christina how to get rid of this one guy's power. And the Hunt, I don't even know what they are. I don't know what they do. I just know that they have different colored eyes and they ride through the sky. I don't know what they do. They're like, yeah, we murder and we fuck and we're so bad. What do they do? What's their purpose? I don't actually know, so I don't talk about them. Kieran, which is the guy that, like, they're dating or whatever, you know, Mark and him. He heard this. He was like shadowing him and he heard it through the window. And so he told his boss. And they come and they're like, you have to be punished. And then Kieran is like, well, we're just gonna take him back to Fairy, right? Like, you told me we're just gonna bring him back. And then the other dude is like, no, we're gonna whip him. And Kieran is like, yeah, he did that to himself, honestly. I don't really, like, that was just a dumb bitch moment on his part. So, this scene, I don't know how many pages it takes place, but this was the most infuriating thing I have read in a long time. Until they figured out who they're gonna whip out of the 3. I felt like I was reading that for 10 hours, like millions of pages it took them to figure out that they're not gonna whip Mark, they're gonna give Julian 2 ass wipes, and then they're gonna whip Emma. And they whipped her. And it was just, it took forever, because then they were like, stop, no wait, no me, Also, Emma is a fucking pussy. I've read characters getting whipped, like 200 whips, and they just take it. And she gets 20 and she passes out after 2. Pussy. They find out that Malcolm Fade is the person who's trying to raise the dead. Malcolm is a warlock. He's like the high warlock of LA, I think, and he's a friend of both Emma and the Blackthorns, and so they didn't suspect him at all. He's in the book also, you know. I thought he was kind of sus, because he was supposed to translate the marks on the wall, but he never did, and I was like, what the fuck is he, like, is he busy? What's he doing? Never thought that it was him, but I didn't care either. Like, it was revealed, and I think when you have this reveal, you want the reader to be shocked, you want them to be shook, like, their boots, their socks, you want their socks to be rocked, and I was reading and I was like, huh, I guess. So this Malcolm dude, he needs Blackthorn blood as his final ingredient after all the murders to raise the dead. It's like his girlfriend or something that died. I don't know, I don't care. So he stole Tavi, which is the youngest. He stole Tavi from the beach. And then he reveals that Emma's parents, he killed them as an experiment to see whether the spell would work or not, but it didn't. So Emma's like, oh my god, their deaths were worthless. I just didn't really care for this, honestly. I was like, just kill him, just get it over with. So Malcolm is like, if you kill me now, you're never gonna find out why Parvati can't fall in love, because it doesn't say it anywhere and it's a secret. And Emma is like, fuck you, bye, and she lets him like be sucked into the ocean and he drowns. We don't know if he drowns. His body is never found. As long as I don't see the body, I don't believe they're dead. That's just my thing, you know. If you don't show me the corpse, they're not dead. That's just a thing. Maybe he's still alive. I don't know what happens for a while, because it just drags on and on and on. Like, Diego and Christina get back together, and I don't know what else happens. I don't care. Kid eventually messages Emma. This is the very end of the book. He had 2 appearances. We love, you know, an inconsistent king. He messages Emma on the phone and he's like, Emma, please, I need help. My dad is being attacked by demons. Help. So Emma shows up by herself. And so do Tessa and Jem. So I had to read 600 pages until Jem showed up. But it was worth it. I love my man. apparently Kid is like a lost Herondale, and they're like, yeah, we owe Herondales, and so like we have to help him. He's like, his name is Christopher or something. I don't like the name Christopher, I'm sorry. I'm gonna read something out to you after they kill the demons and the dad is dead, and so now Kid is an orphan. I'm gonna read this out, what happens. Whatever, Kid sounded sullen. I don't want to go in. You could run away, Tessa said, and for the first time Emma heard the hardness under the gentle tone of her voice. It was a reminder that she and Jace shared some of the same blood. I didn't read the moral instruments, so maybe I'm missing something, but as far as I'm concerned, Jace is a Herondale. So you're trying to tell me that Tessa Gray, the warlock, shares blood with the Herondales? Isn't she a Starkweather? Just because she fucked Will doesn't mean she, like, what? Are they related all of a sudden? More incest? I also don't know how Tessa and Jem knew that, Emma was going there. Maybe she told them, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know how they knew that Kid needed help and how they found him. They just turned up at the exact same time as Emma did. So that's very convenient. Shout out to Jem. Like, Jem isn't a shadow hunter anymore, which I don't really understand that. Like, I mean, he was a shadow hunter, then he became a silent brother, and then he became human. But why don't you just make him drink from the mortal cup? Just an idea. So Jem is like, oh, you want to know why Parabatai can't fall in love? And Emma is like, yes, please, Daddy Jem, which I would also call him Daddy. She doesn't say Daddy, but he's my daddy. And he tells her, well, you know, girl, when Parabatai fall in love, their love enhances their bond, and so they become, like, magical. Like, their runes they put on each other, they become so strong that they're like magic, and Shadowhunters aren't allowed to do magic. And just on top of it all, they turn into like monsters that like don't have a mind, and then they kill everyone around them. What the fuck? Jem is like, you know, like, they can't tell anyone about this because then people would use it to their advantage, and they would just like, you know, they would like, I don't know, like, just become Parabatai when they're in love, and then they would like use it to their advantage and just like kill everyone. What the fuck? No? I don't understand why the fuck they're holding this a secret from everyone. I also don't understand that if this is the case and this rule has been established for forever, why they didn't just forbid like heterosexuals. This rule has been established for hundreds of years, right? We're like in the 21st century, but it has been going on for, I don't know, maybe as long as Shadowhunters exist. Why didn't they fucking forbid men and women to become Parabatai and just have same-sex Parabatai? I think the people back in the day, like 17th century, 18th century, they were homophobic, so I think that they would have made that rule, but they didn't. They didn't think about that. They were like, you know what, like, homosexuality doesn't exist, so that's fine, but we can't have the risk of them falling away. Like, it just seems logical to me why they didn't just forbid it, you know, because, like, do you understand what I'm trying to say? And also the fact that they're just like, they're like, yeah, people would use it to their advantage, and so we're not telling anyone about it. That just seems so irresponsible to me. Like, you're really just gonna leave them with nothing. You're just like, you can't fall in love, and they're like, why? And they're like, also, they're fucking allowing 12-year-old children to become Parabatai. You are allowing children to make a decision that's gonna last them a lifetime. I don't agree with it. I don't. Why the fuck would you allow 12-year-olds to choose who to be your Parabatai? Why don't you make like an age limit? Like, you have to be 16, you have to be 18. Because like, what, like 12-year-olds, you really want to make 12-year-olds fight in battle? Because like, that's the only thing Parabatai are good for, really, to fight demons together. Do you really send out the children to fight the demons? It doesn't make, like, they allow children to make this big ass decision. I'm not friends with the people that I was friends with when I was 12. Imagine I had become Parabatai with them. I would look real fucking dumb right now. So Emma, after she finds this out, she's like, fuck yeah, Jem, like, really opened my eyes. Like, I can't be in love with Julian. We have to be apart. So she goes to Julian and she's just like, you know what? You suck. I don't want to date you. And so Julian was like, why? And she's like, yeah, you know, I don't know. Like, Why not? She's really heartbroken over it, and I don't understand why she didn't just fucking tell him. Julian is the most sensible person in this book, or one of the most sensible, and one of the most, like, he loves his siblings, and he would never be like, you know what, that's not gonna happen to us, we're just gonna keep, like, fucking around with each other. He would be like, you know what, if that's true, I don't want to kill my fucking siblings because I love them so much, maybe we should really try to, like, not be together. I don't understand why she had to go out of her way and be like, yeah, like, I don't know, I don't want to be with you. I just told you I wanted to be with you, like, an hour ago, but, like, now? You're not that cute anymore. I don't know. And then she goes to Mark. And Mark just saw Diego and Christina kiss, I think. And so he's kind of, like, a little heartbroken because he wanted to be with Christina, which is really cute. I love Mark. And so Emma's like, hey, should we be like, to all the boys I loved before, like, fake dating? And he's like, you know what? Let's get it! He literally, she's like, yeah, let's pretend like, it's important, like, it's for Julian. So obviously he's gonna say yes if she's like, oh, please just be like it's gonna help, it's gonna be good for Julian, like, it's helping him. Because that's, like, pressuring him into doing it, you know what I mean? It's like, that wasn't okay from her. That really, So then she's like, yeah, let's just pretend. And then Mark is like, okay, and he, like, locks the door and he turns around and he's like, why pretend? As an epilogue, we get Lady Midnight, which is the title, which is the girl that was supposed to be raised from the dead. We get Lady Midnight waking up. She wakes up. We need a villain. Now for some random things that really fucking bothered me. What the fuck is... Just listen to me say this, okay? Emma's head was starting to ache. Her ponytail holder was twisted hard into her hair. She reached up to loosen it. Do you mean a hair tie? Ponytail holder? I've never heard that in my... Maybe people say that. I've never heard that in my life. Also, English isn't my first language, so maybe I'm just being dumb, but, like, ponytail holder? I also don't understand. I really don't understand why the fuck they got rid of Helene, which is, like, another Blackthorn sibling. They had, like, his dad had so many fucking children. She's also part fairy like Mark, but unlike Mark, she wasn't taken into fairy. She was sent off to some random ass island. And then she married the daughter of one of the dudes. I fucking don't remember. I wrote the daughter of the Institute, but, like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't understand why, if she married the daughter of one of those people in such a high position, why they wouldn't be like, oh yeah, you're trustworthy, even though you're part fairy, like, the marriage was allowed, so why isn't she allowed to come back? I don't get it. I really don't fucking understand. I really thought Shadowhunters over everything. Like, Shadowhunters dominate everything. Like, they're just so sick. And you're like, you know what? You're part fairy. You might fucking not be loyal to us, you know? We hate everyone. The fucking finger tracing that Emma and Julian do, I don't like it. I don't like it. They do it like 5 times. It's supposed to be this big thing. They do it like 5 times. And I was just reading that for the first time, and I was sitting here, I was like, okay, I'm just imagining me and my boyfriend, like, and I'm just like, he wouldn't understand a fucking word. He wouldn't get it. He wouldn't get it. He would be like, why the fuck are you touching my wrist? I did like it better though than, like, this telepathy shit that some people pull. Like, they're like, oh, his eyes seem to say this, and I smiled back and thought this, and he thought this, and I felt like I could hear it. The back, by the way, is literally wrong. It says all they have to do is solve the murders within 2 weeks. It's 3 weeks! In the book it says 3 weeks! You're so stupid! I also kept forgetting that Emma was a cast as... I don't know, it just doesn't roll off the tongue. Why is there a marriage rune? Why is there a rune for everything? A fucking marriage rune? I don't get it. I don't know what it does. I don't know why it exists. Like, just get married. And that be it. Like, what does a marriage rune do? Also, I don't believe that Parabatai, like, can't sever their bond. I don't know, by the way, but I don't believe it. That they just have to die for the bond to disappear. Like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. There's gonna be a different way. They should make a rune to remove runes. My mind. I also hated the whole plot with Malcolm being like, I'm gonna raise my Shadowhunter girlfriend from the dead. This bitch, like, he is a fucking immortal warlock, and that bitch was a Shadowhunter, so she would have died anyway. And so it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if she were a warlock, then then maybe, because she would live with him forever, like they would live together in peace forever, but she's a shadow, like she would have fucking died anyway. Why are you so pressed? I have already ordered Lord of Shadows. It's coming in tomorrow or in 2 days, and I'm excited for it. I actually don't know how this series ends. I am really bad at avoiding spoilers, but sometimes I manage. I just want Mark to end up with me, and I want Emma to, I don't know, like go to this fucking institute. Oh fuck. This book was just like a whole, it was just a lot, you know, it was just a lot of could have been cut, and I don't love the characters enough to be like, oh yeah, I loved all of the unnecessary, I do this every day, and then I make pancakes, like I did. Sorry. I hope everyone enjoyed me just yelling. I was yelling a lot. I'm home alone, that's why, I'm sorry. Other than that, you can go check out my Instagram or my Twitter, which are down below. Check out my other videos, and I hope to see you all again in my next yelling rant review. Bye!